Will you let go of the anger, the bitterness, the resentment, and give your enemy food when he's hungry? When you're merciful, you're not lessening what they did. They may have hurt you. It wasn't right. You're not excusing their actions. But when you're the bigger person, when you're kind, even though they don't deserve it, not only does that have a great impact on them, but that frees you to go to a higher level.
I've always known this, but somebody told me something one time about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not for you. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is you. See, your unwillingness to forgive another person is like you sipping the poison, waiting on them to die.
You're still alive, still on this earth, even though it's been challenging and rough. And sometimes you get discouraged and uninspired to keep going. God has a plan. You will grow through what you go through. Everything that you're going through, at some point, it makes no sense to you right now. But at some point, God is going to reveal to you why all of these issues, challenges, and problems continue to show up and what you were supposed to learn from it. You will grow through what you go through.
You can't sip the poison of unforgiveness and expect them to die. Forgiveness is for you. Something else I think. You can't drive your car looking in the rearview mirror. You can't. If you keep looking in the rearview mirror, you're going to keep crashing your car. There's a reason why the rearview mirror is this big and the windshield is this big. That's a reason for it. Because all the rearview mirror does is allows you to see what you've passed and to prevent what you've passed from coming up on you again. That's all the rearview mirror is for. The windshield is your future. It's where you're going. It's where you're headed. I hope you all picked up this today. And think about that, how that affects your life. If you got someone who you feel has wronged you and you carrying that, that's like a cancer. And all it's doing is eating away at you. Do you know how many people I've had to forgive that have never asked me for forgiveness? You know how many people I just let go so I could just go where God had for me? Because I just ain't have no more time to spend no more time thinking about that.
A lot of people would say, I love myself. Do you really love yourself? Are the things that you're doing and the people that you're hanging out with and the places and the circles that you're traveling in, does that reflect a person that actually loves themselves? If you love yourself, why would you fuck with those type of people? You know what they're saying about you behind your back. You know they're jealous and envious of who you are and the things that you got going on in your life and your career. You know that they don't like you. And they've made it clear. They've sent you every sign imaginable that they could possibly send you. And because you're so desperate to have people around you and in your life, you continue to go back. You continue to show up to everything they invite you to, knowing what they're saying about you. I'm not preaching separatism. I want a bunch of people to just be alone at home doing nothing, with no friends, no family, and nothing to do. I'm saying that at this point, you are old enough and mature enough to understand the difference in good people and bad people. And when you're hanging out with negative, dark, and dysfunctional people, you cannot expect yourself to go to sleep at night and rest. You cannot expect yourself to feel good about your day when you're including negative and dysfunctional people in your day. So what you grew up with them? So what their childhood friends? So what their family? We have a responsibility to walk in the direction of peace. I want to laugh. I want to smile. I want to enjoy myself. I actually want to feel good about the people that are around me.
If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, Crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
A lot of people are looking at this the wrong way. There is a blessing in everything. Behind every moment of adversity in your life, there is a blessing and a lesson. Every moment of adversity has those two things. Pain always leaves a gift. Always. It's not going to change for you. It's COVID for everybody. Say just you. Your world 42 ain't finna crumble because you got to change your career. You have to change your career. You just said it in the question. Maybe it was time for you to move on. Somebody sent me a plaque one day that said, don't worry about the people that God has removed from your life. He saw things you didn't see. He heard conversations you couldn't hear. And he made moves you wouldn't make. And that's it. So when COVID happens, people get, oh, this door closed, my business closed, my job. closed. When a door gets shut, me, I'm so glad that idiot is gone. No. 63 years old, man. It's the best my life ever been. You know what I'm saying? But that's a scripture, though. If you honor me, but God changed people, so sure glad he changed me. Whew. All right, come on.
You see, it's not what happens that determines the quality or the quantity of your life. It's not what happens. And the reason is because what happens to about everybody. The sun went down on all of us last night. A common event. And I found out the same things can happen to two different people, but one gets rich and the other stays poor. Why is that? It's because it's not what happens, but rather, it's what you do about it. That is an important phrase for your written and mental notes. It's not what happens. It's what you do that makes the difference in how your life works out. What happens is about the same for everybody. It's what people do that makes the difference. Anything can happen, right? I've heard all of the stories. Hey, I've been one of the stories. We could all tell stories for days on end. Anything can happen. Have you heard of Murphy's Laws? Surely you have. Murph had these laws. One of the laws was, if anything can go wrong, it will. That's one of Murphy's laws. Anything can happen.
People succeed, some people do, some people don't. And I think it more comes down to how do we manage our mind and how do we manage our days? And I think that there's a difference between successful people and unsuccessful people in the way they particularly think about approaching something new. You know, I think unsuccessful people, when they have a big dream and they start thinking about what's going to be required to accomplish that dream, they get very limiting in their beliefs about themselves and what's possible. And specifically, they say three types of things. You know, the first thing they often say is, well, I don't know how to do that. So they stop. And they say, I don't have those things. So they stop. Or they say, I don't know, I'm not like those people. I'm not like that. And so they stop. But successful people have a different way. They have the same thing. Everybody dreams. You dream, I dream, successful people dream, people just starting out. Everybody dreams. Everyone has a vision. Everyone, if they could just take 5 minutes today and think about their lives, we could all come up with ways to improve our lives and reach another level of success, joy, happiness, achievement, contribution, fulfillment, soul. We can all elevate. But the challenge is that the unsuccessful people, they keep stopping when they think of what they currently know, have, or are. But successful people say, well, I want to do that, but I don't know how to do that. But instead of stopping, they say, well, then my job is to go learn that. They take their current limitation and they put it on their agenda as a job to do, as a thing to figure out, a thing to make happen.
My point is, the person who's worried is focusing on something different and making a different decision. They're focusing on maybe they were in an accident, maybe they were hurt, maybe they were killed. They're giving it that meaning, it freaks them out. The person who's angry, they're focusing on they didn't do it again, they don't care about me, and they make up a meaning. So whatever we focus on, we feel. Have you ever thought someone did something to you and you got so angry and maybe confronted them and then found out you were wrong? And you felt like such an idiot? Well, why were you wrong? Because when you focus on it, it feels so true to you, so you think it is true. So what decision, and the second decision, by the way, you make is, what does this mean? The minute you focus on something, you have to give it a meaning. And is this the end or is this the beginning? Is this person dissing me? Is this person ripping me up? Is this person challenging me? Is this person actually coaching me? Is this person actually loving me? If you think they're ripping you apart, you're going to respond very differently, feel different, react different than if you think they're just coaching you or loving you. And so we make these decisions about what to focus on, what things mean, and whatever meaning you give it, it's going to give you an emotion. If you think somebody's ripping you off, you're going to feel very differently than if you think they're trying to help you. And whether it's true or not doesn't matter. All that matters is what you focus on and the meaning you give it. and that'll produce an emotion, and from that you make the third decision, what am I going to do? So if you said to me, Tony, okay, get to the point. What's the decision I need to make? Well, I'll give you one more example. If you asked me a year and a half ago, what would be the most important decision in life, I would say who you decide to love, who you decide to spend your life with, because who you spend time with is who you become. And in my case with my wife, my Bonnie Pearl, my Sage, she's somewhere around. I'm not doing this to make her feel good. She's the most important decision I ever made in that area. But today, my wife and I both agree there's a decision that's even more important than that. Because your husband or wife could die, God forbid. Or they could change their values, change their beliefs, change their life, and leave you, divorce you. So if you're going to have an extraordinary, magnificent
story that I heard Alan Watts tell one time, and it was a very powerful story. He said, your life is like a boat, and it's heading up the river at, say, 40 knots. All right? And as it's going, you are somehow able to metaphorically stand on the stern, the back of the way I would like it to work, working the